You know, each day I'm convinced more and more that God is on our side. Each day I wake up, each morning that the good Lord privileges me with, I am convinced more and more that God is on the side of the patriots. Now, I don't want to risk being blasphemous and say, yeah, he is on our side, he's on our side. But I'm convinced more and more, and I talk to God, and God talks to me, not directly, but indirectly. And that is why I am convinced, patriots, populists, more and more, that he is on the side of the populace, and he is against the New World Order. He is against population control. He's against eugenics. He's against all the lies. He's against the tyranny. He's against the evil. He's against all of it. All of it. Now, God certainly has a sense of humor, and he knows how to deal with evil. You know, just now we're learning that Prince Philip, Duke of Hazards, as we are supposed to refer to him as Duke of Edinburgh, has died. Now, I say rest in peace, okay? I don't believe in celebrating deaths. I'm not Hillary Clinton. Even when Osama bin Laden died, death is something that you shouldn't, it's not right to celebrate. But it is important to speak about this. It's very important to speak about the significance of this man in particular dying around this time. I want to share with you guys, and this is not something you're going to hear from the sycophantic mainstream media, because they're all in the pocket of the system. Back in 1988, the Duke of Hazards stated that in the event that I'm reincarnated, I would like to return as a deadly virus to contribute something to solving overpopulation. So this is clear, populace, that Prince Philip, who has just now died during this so-called pandemic, was a big believer in depopulation. This same guy, who are now all supposed to fall over and, oh, he's dead, and all the world leaders, Justin Trudeau just sent out a statement, Prime Minister of Australia, all the flags are half-mast now. This man is a big believer in depopulation, and he wanted to come back as a deadly virus. Now, he may have been joking, but the point is that there are people out there within the elite who think that we are useless eaters, and we should maybe start out by voluntarily not having children. Even though this guy, and he said that in an interview, which I've watched. In fact, it was the last interview he ever did. The interviewer asked him, do you believe in sterilization or eugenics? He said, no, I believe in, well, we should start off with voluntary sterilization, not having as many children. This individual had 4 children, 4, Charles, Anne, the pedophile, Andrew, Edward, all of them I would say are a bunch of useless eaters. All of them sponge off the system. I remember one time Prince Philip stated that he was speaking to, I think, a Filipino nurse or someone, some nurse from some foreign place. Maybe it was Africa, I don't know, Indian nurse, a foreign nurse in Britain. And you know what he asked her? He asked her, who do you sponge off of? Now, again, this could be construed as a joke, but to say that to a foreign nurse who has come to Britain to work, to probably help you, because how many times you've been in and out of hospital, that same woman helping you. I mean, it just underlines the point that at how these people think, that there are just some people out there who are just not worthy. Yet you've got Philip, the Queen, the whole royal family, all sponging off the system. All of them taking taxpayer money, doing nonsense, really. I mean, Prince Andrew, I mean, he's still taking public money. He doesn't done jack all now. Harry and Meghan, Duchess of Thoughts and Duke of Cox. And I want to know if they're still on the system too. I don't know. They say they're not. But this man he is privileged to have 4 children, but we are supposed to first voluntarily not have children or not have as many children. And if we quite frankly refuse, then maybe he'll decide the next day that forced sterilization is necessary. So it's really ironic that this individual dies during this so-called fake pandemic. God has a sense of humor for this man to die around this time. Can you imagine that? Now, many people have said that this China virus was man-made. I'm starting to believe, I don't know. Just like people say 9/11 was an inside job, I quite frankly don't know. And don't even bring me into a conversation of that. I know a lot of people are so that's not what this is about. But what I can tell you is that they are using this pandemic, just like they used 9/11, to take our rights and to build up the New World Order, to make themselves more powerful. But a lot of people say it was man-made. And a lot of people say it was man-made so that population control could go down. So it's quite ironic that the one who dies is Prince Philip. This is why I say that I feel, and I don't think his soul is going to be damned to hell. I don't think he was that evil. I don't think he's going to hell. I don't think he's going to hell. But God but God determines when we die. God determines when we die. God determines when we die. God. And when you take that power away from God, you get into trouble. That's why, people say that suicide and all that stuff. I don't know about that. I don't think that people who commit suicide go to hell. I don't believe in that. I don't know. I think that's the Catholics who believe in that. I don't believe in that. But I do know that God doesn't like that because you're taking the power away from him. But God determines when we die. And God has said that Prince Philip is going to die during this so-called pandemic, which may have been man-made. And now it's just so crazy that the guy says something like that, and he's the one who's dying. And I'm sure he would think of me as a useless eater. I'm sure he would think of people like Kevin J. Johnston and you and the average people. But look, I'm still alive. In fact, I've never been more alive. I'm losing weight. My blood pressure's been going down. I've never been more alive. Kevin J. Johnston, yeah, he's been arrested all day and night, but he's alive. In fact, he's more alive than ever. He's lost someone. I mean, it's just, that's why I say, if God is on our side, no one can be against us. Trust in him. Trust in him. And all things will come. You don't see it, but it's happening. Now, I don't think God is putting Prince Philip in hell. I don't think he's going to put him in hell. I don't think he's going to put him in hell. I don't think so. I think that Prince Philip is a big mouth. I think that he is an elitist. I think he's probably lost too. Prince Philip was not, he got royal blood in him, but he wasn't born anything really particularly, he's a Greek, I guess, but he was probably one of the poorer members of that whole system when he was born. He had a rough childhood. He wasn't really part of the system. When he married the queen, nobody liked him, The queen mother didn't like him, the king didn't like, nobody liked him. He was not a part of the system. In fact, during the early days of the queen's marriage, Prince Philip was probably on our side. He was a reformer. He was like, let's get more with the people. But then as he became more in the city, it's like it's enveloped him. So I think Prince Philip is lost. There are people who are seriously part of the New World Order, and there are people who are just lost. Like many of you guys who don't like me, you're all lost. Many of the people who are wearing masks in their car, they're lost. They're lost. And you don't go to hell for being lost unless you do something about it. I don't think Prince Philip's going to hell. But God is teaching the New World Order and everybody a lesson that evil is not something you want to play with, because you're going to, quite frankly, get yourself humiliated. To die during a so-called pandemic when you called for a pandemic to cull half of the population or to do something about population control is about as embarrassing as I could admit. And you won't see this on the mainstream media because it's embarrassing to them too. But I say God's will is always right. Yay and amen. And boom, shakalaka goes right there. So with that being said, I wish the queen well. It's funny. When the spouse dies, the spouse that's behind is that's when they start to go. So, the queen's lost her husband. It's probably the only man she ever had. I don't know. I've never heard of the Queen Elizabeth having shacking up with other people. I don't know. I don't think so. She doesn't seem like that kind of person. But I pray for her and the family. And well, Prince Philip, he's gone, and this is the time that God has chosen him to go. Now, a lot of people might not like me saying all this stuff, but it has to be said. Because I'm fighting for the revolutionaries, I'm fighting for the puppets, I'm fighting for the people. And wrong is wrong. And I'll always mention it. I'll always mention it. And I'll mention when God is talking to us. And right now, God is talking to us. And God is saying he is against eugenics and he is against depopulation. And this is the proof right here. This is the